so today I'm going to be doing another favorite books video. I'm going to be discussing my favorite young adult paranormal, dystopian, and sci-fi books, but I'm also going to add in miscellaneous, so that's 4 genres. However, there aren't going to be very many books mentioned in this video, only because I haven't read enough books in each genre, hence why I'm mashing them all up. I'm just going to be running through these books. I'm not really going to go into detail on what they're about, only because if you guys know me, you know I don't do summaries. I can't summarize a book very well, not unless like I study it and I repeat things over and over again. I just can't describe anything. So as always, the Goodreads link for each of these books are going to be down below. And with that being said, let's just get started. Oh, by the way, I also did another one of these videos, my favorite young adult. I haven't edited or uploaded that yet, but I will soon, and then you'll see that, and then you'll be seeing this, but yeah, anyway, I'll link that down below as well. The first genre I'm going to talk about is sci-fi, and I only have 2 books in this genre. So the first one that I had ever read was the I'm Number 4 series by Pittacus Lore, and I actually haven't caught up to that series, but I've read the first 4. However, I can't remember what happened in the 3rd or 4th one. I reread the first one like a bunch of times because I read it for the first time after seeing the movie, and I'm not gonna lie, I loved that movie. I don't know why everyone just like didn't like it. However, I'm not a fan of Diana Agron. At one point in the movie, she just became really annoying, so I didn't like her character. In the book, it is really, really slow. Like, the book is super slow, but I got through that, I read the second one, and as you go on in the series, it gets so good. Even though I can't remember what happens in the 3rd or 4th, I just remember the pace being picked up a lot more. And I'm not sure if the series is over yet, but I think there's a 5th one out there. The titles are confusing because there's I'm Number 4, The Power of 6, The Rise of 9, The Power of 5, and then I think there's one after that one that's out. So you have to be careful in what order you get them because sometimes it gets confusing if you're not aware. I don't mean to refer to the movie very much. I love Timothy Olyphant's character. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that actor's name right. Him and Alex Pettyfer are very good looking, and same with Sam something. I don't know. And Jake Abel's in that movie. I don't know how I know all these actors' names from that movie. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was trying to like give you guys a quick description. It's just like about this alien guy who looks like a human. I think he can like morph his look or has powers or something like that. I suck at describing things. The movie is kind of cheesy, but if you wanted to watch that before you read the book, go for it. I watched the movie and then picked up the book because I really liked the movie. Then the second sci-fi book I have to talk about is The Host by Stephenie Meyers. Okay, I will admit, when I read the Twilight series in middle school, I really enjoyed them. Looking back at it now, the movies make me cringe so much, and I can't imagine rereading the books, and I don't want to ever reread them just because I remembered as a youngster, youngin, whatever, I really liked them. That's what got me into reading. I'm not even kidding, because the romance in that book I just really enjoyed. Stephenie Meyer wrote the Twilight series is what I'm trying to get at. The Twilight series to me became so cheesy, and I don't know, I didn't want to put myself back into that world. But so many of my friends in life, like, who don't really read and who are kind of more like laid back and easygoing and don't really pick up books ever, were like, dude, you gotta read The Host. It was actually really good. And I was like, And then after seeing the movie, okay, oh, Jake Abel is in that movie too, and oh my god, I'm blanking on that guy's name. Max something, I think his name's Max, I can't remember. Max Irons. Oh my gosh, when they were wearing the shades, they're so attractive. And yeah, the movie was super cheesy, but I watched it with 2 very close people in my life, and we were squealing and we just had a great time watching that movie. So it's kind of one of those movies where it depends on the people you're with. But again, I saw the movie before I read the book, loved the movie, ended up reading the book. I had such a hard time getting through like the beginning portion, but after my friends kept telling me to just keep reading and I had to finish it, after I got past that like really dull phase, the book just, I read through it so fast, and honestly that's probably one of the biggest books I've ever read because it's a pretty massive book. Excuse me, but I really, really liked it, so obviously it's going to be in this video. The next genre I'm going to talk about is paranormal, and I realized I just like really don't read a lot of paranormal books, so I'm going to just mention the ones that I can remember really, really, really enjoying, but in all honesty, now in my life, I don't think I'd enjoy them as much. But the Born at Midnight series by C.C. Hunter, I read that when I think I was like in middle school transitioning into high school. I loved that series. It's kind of about this girl who sees ghosts, and then she goes to this like summer camp or boarding school or something like that to help her with her powers, and then she meets a bunch of people, and it was very simple to understand, but there was so much in the story going on. I read, I think, the first 3 or 4. No, I've read the first 3 books, but I've been collecting the other books, even though I don't think I'm ever going to reread them. And then the other one is The Fallen Saga by Lauren Kate. I read that my sophomore year of high school. I finished that series, I think, my sophomore year. I really enjoyed it. There were moments where it was lacking for me, and I was almost like, oh, I don't really want to continue, because it was also very like moody. I don't want to just say dark, because it wasn't like dark, but it was just really moody, and I really liked the way it wrapped up. So I give that a 5 out of 5. It's about this girl, again, she goes to a boarding school, and she meets people who, I can't exactly remember if they have powers either, but read the synopsis and find out. Then the next genre I'm going to be talking about is dystopian. Now, all these authors I'm going to be mentioning are all auto-by authors. So my all-time favorite trilogy ever is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. I was so blown away by how much I really enjoyed that trilogy. I read it super quick. There's so much in that story and in that world. I loved every minute of it. Mafi's writing is just so spectacular, and the story is just like genius that you keep reading. I'm trying my best here to explain it and trying to convince you that you have to read it if you haven't. I can't wait to reread that series. I'm going to do that over the summer when I have more time. My second favorite trilogy ever is The Selection by Kiera Cass. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the Selection trilogy, only because there are certain parts of the book that I didn't like, or that I felt like were being rushed, or that I wasn't in love with, basically. But all in all, I really liked it. Like, not liked it, but enjoyed it. And so I'm gonna say it's one of my favorite trilogies, but Shatter Me is just like way up there compared to The Selection. And then my third favorite trilogy ever is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I had a love-hate relationship with this one as well. The first time I ever read Divergent, I absolutely loved it. Same thing with The Selection by Kiera Cass. But then I had to reread it for the second one. I enjoyed it just as much, but when I had to reread it for the third one, for Allegiant, I almost couldn't stand it. Like, I didn't want to read it anymore, and it was so weird. Maybe it was just like a funk that I was in, but I remember not enjoying it as much, and if I would have rated it again, honestly, I would have given it a 3 out of 5. But I did really enjoy Allegiant. I liked how it wrapped up and ended. I know a lot of people didn't, but you know, I have my reasons. I'm obviously not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it. But again, I had that like love-hate relationship where I didn't really love everything that was going on within the trilogy. So The Selection and Divergent I still really enjoyed and loved, but Shatter Me blew it out of the water. So those are all my favorite dystopians, and yes, they were all trilogies, but I didn't have any other books that I could place in this video that weren't trilogies that are my favorites. However, I would put The Giver as an honorable mention because I read that book the first time ever in middle school, and when I was in middle school, I refused to comprehend any of the books they forced me to read just because I didn't want to. I hated being forced to read. I still do, but I didn't really care for it, and then I reread it the beginning of this year's school semester, so I'm a freshman in college, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So I mean, I give that, I think, a 4 out of 5, but looking back at it now, would love to give it a 5 out of 5. I think it was just the pacing that was slow. However, that was the first dystopian novel I ever read, and I really enjoyed it, so that gets an honorable mention. Then the last set of books I'm going to be mentioning are put in the miscellaneous category. However, they do have their own genres. This next one that I'm going to be mentioning is probably in the young adult thriller category, and that is I Hunt Killers by Barry Lyga. I highly recommend anyone read these books. Like, it's a trilogy, but I've only read the first 2. The third one, I read half of it before I had to return it to the library, and I know, if you guys know me, you know I don't borrow books ever from the library, but I really wanted to read it, and I didn't want to buy it in hardcover because I have the first 2 in paperback, so it's like book problems. But I didn't get to finish it because I was so busy with school, and then I had it for the amount of time I could have it, and since it was a new book, I had to return it to the library. Anyway, the first 2 books were really amazing. The second one, though, is huge, and it kind of like dragged on a little for me. And then the first one is a like tiny bit slow just because like you gotta get the ball rolling. But I am not a fan of scary thrillers at all. Like the paranormal books that I read aren't really scary thrillers. They're just not. I don't know. But I for some reason really liked it. I mean, it wasn't that scary. What I can remember from this book is it's about a kid named Jasper Dent, and he is the son of the world's most notorious serial killer, and he lives in the town of Lobosnod. I'm remembering a lot from this. And he has two best friends, Connie and can't remember his guy friend's name, but he bleeds a lot because he has maybe. I don't know. He has something where he, like, you touch him and he bruises. And I love, he was kind of like a little bit of a comic relief, because there were just jokes splattered throughout the book with him. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about those books, but I can't wait to read the third one. Then the last book I have to mention is Seriously I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres. I love Ellen DeGeneres. I like subscribed to the YouTube channel like a couple years ago, and since then have watched like so many videos. I don't actually have like a TV to watch the show on, and then also I don't have a lot of time, but just she's hilarious, she's so kind, she's funny. I love her. So when I saw her book, I was like, why have I never picked it up? I wasn't really expecting much, except the back of the book when you read it is just so funny. I'm not the kind of person to pick up like nonfiction books, but hers, like as soon as I picked it up, it was such a quick, easy read, and it was really funny, and I enjoyed it so much. And I know that there's an audiobook and she actually reads it herself, but I liked reading the physical book because there were a few images in there that like you can't really get described to you through audiobook, but I never listened to it, so I'm not sure. It was a great, light, funny read. But those are all the books that I had to mention for this video, and I rambled so much, and I'm so sorry. The last video in this installment I think will be the last one, and that'll be New Adult. I saved that one for last because I wanted to see if I could go home to film it, because I have all my New Adult books there. But if not, I mean, I can always just do what I do with these videos and just pop the image on the screen. But that's all I have to share. And I don't want to keep talking because you have suffered through watching this long ass video. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!